By the time you finish this video, you will understand exactly how ancient military strategies really worked under extreme pressure. You will learn the hidden mistakes that turn a sure victory into a massive disaster. We are looking at the Battle of Salamis, but not from the usual perspective. We are diving deep into the minds of the Persian invaders who thought they already won the war. Most history channels just give you dry dates and names. But as a military historian who has spent years analyzing ancient naval tactics, I want to show you the real human cost of these massive conflicts. You will see how arrogance can blind even the most powerful leaders on earth. The Persian king, Xerxes, had a flawless plan on paper. He had the best sailors in the world from Phoenicia. They knew the sea better than anyone else alive. But they made one critical mistake that changed everything. They forgot that human bodies have limits. They ignored the exhaustion of their own men. Now, why does this matter? Because leadership isn't just about raw power. It's about knowing your team. Let's find out what happened next in this crazy ancient Navy trap story. Let's look at a man named Tetramnestus. He's the king of Sidon. Right now, he's sitting on the deck of his massive warship. He's relaxing on a soft purple cushion. A nice cloth canopy protects him from the cold wind. His ship glides through the dark water. It's almost completely silent. But across the water, he can see fires. Those are the fires of the Greek fleet. They're waiting. Nearby, thousands of Persian soldiers are marching on land. Their heavy footsteps make a lot of noise. It's hard to hear the water, but when the wind drops, Tetramnestus hears a rhythmic sound. It's the sound of two stones striking together. That's how they keep time for the rowers. It doesn't make more noise than walking on shells. The crew looks like normal workmen. You'd think they're out harvesting shells for purple dye. But you're wrong. These men are the best sailors in the entire world. It's the dark morning of September 25th. They're sailing out to win a massive war. Tetramnestus is ready. He wears a heavy bronze helmet. He has a purple tunic. He even wears gold earrings and a blue glass amulet for some real good extra luck. But it gets worse. The entire Persian fleet is on the move. We're talking about 700 massive warships. They're rowing hard through the narrow straits of Salamis. Their main mission is to trap the enemy. The Persians think the Greeks are going to run away tonight. They want to block every single exit. They want to shock the Greeks and destroy them completely. Xerxes wants a total victory. He even has some Greek traders helping him. It's a very dangerous plan. The ships have to move into enemy waters in total darkness. There's no moon tonight. There are no stars in the cloudy sky. They can't make a sound. For centuries, the Phoenicians have been the kings of the sea. Their city, Sidon, is the richest and most powerful of all. It sits right between snow-capped mountains and the beautiful blue sea. Their ancestors handed down centuries of naval experience. That's why Xerxes chose them for this crazy job. Tetramnestus is the king's favorite leader. He expects to crush the Greeks before the sun goes down tomorrow. This is his absolute biggest moment. He wants to hand a massive victory to his great master right away, very fast now. Now, why does this matter? Because the Persian king completely trusted these Phoenician sailors. He didn't trust the Egyptians or the Ionians. He thought they were weak traders. But the men of Sidon were different. Xerxes built a huge royal park outside their city. He gave them tons of money for a massive temple. For Sidon, Persian rule was a golden age. They were ready to pay him back. Think of it this way. The war started out great for them. They won a big boat race in May. Xerxes watched them from a white marble throne. He loved it. Then he used a Sidonian ship to review his entire fleet. The king sat under a golden canopy and asked questions. His secretaries wrote down every single word. It was a glorious day. They led the fleet through a giant canal. They survived a massive storm on the coast. But then, things went wrong. They had an embarrassing fight at Artemisium. Tetramnestus blamed the other captains. He said the rest of the fleet was just a crowd of landlubbers. He hated the other squads. Now, he has a real second chance at Salamis to fix everything very quickly right now. Here is the catch. The Phoenicians completely looked down on the Greeks. They thought the Greeks were total amateurs at sea. The Phoenicians had been using massive warships for generations. The Athenian navy was only 3 years old. The Greeks just had beginner luck. But let's look at how this mission actually started hours ago. The Persian fleet returned to the bay at sunset. The crews were sweating and angry. Their destiny was delayed. They wanted to cut off the Greeks and make them pay. After they landed, the men ate dinner. They were starving. They had been rowing 10 miles to the entrance of the straits. They sat at their oars for hours, moving back and forth to scare the Greeks. That's a lot of hard work. The rowers had very simple food. They ate onions, dry salt fish, and barley. Some found figs and apples. They needed fresh water badly after all that hard work. But they really wanted wine. Wine was the standard drink for everyone. A little wine went a long way before a huge battle. Everything depended on supply ships keeping them fed and happy and totally ready now. After dinner, the men tried to rest. Carpenters checked the wooden hulls for leaks. Some men played dice, others sang or prayed. They knew the morning would bring a brutal battle, but their rest didn't last long. Before midnight, the loud order came to launch the entire fleet immediately. Before this main order, a smaller group went out on a secret mission. They had to take over a tiny island called Citylea. It sat right at the entrance of the channel. The Persian leaders cared a lot about this tiny rock. They knew the main battle would happen right next to it. Many broken ships and swimming men would wash up on its shores. Whoever controlled the island could save their own men and slaughter the enemy. The Persians landed there in total silence. Back at the main beach, over 100,000 men started moving. It was a massive achievement. Every single rower had to get back on board. They carried a little food and water. Each ship took about 15 minutes to load. They sat in regular seats to keep their rhythm perfect. They checked their wooden oars and leather loops very fast right now. Next, the fighters got ready. Marines and archers grabbed their deadly weapons. They put on heavy metal helmets. They picked up sharp spears. They checked their arrows and daggers. They were the absolute last men to step onto the decks. Their commanders gave them fierce speeches on land. Everyone knew exactly what was on the line. If they failed, Xerxes would cut off their heads. His brutal habit of executing failures was well known. Before launching, the men prayed to their local gods. They poured wine on the decks as gifts to the spirits. This massive fleet was incredibly diverse. It had people from every corner of Asia. There were swamp rowers from Egypt, rich Lydians, and deadly archers from Babylon. It even had fierce fighters from Afghanistan. It also had a lot of Greek traders from different islands. There were famous kings, and even one powerful queen named Artemisia. Each massive warship held 230 men. Their decks were crowded with soldiers wearing crazy outfits from all over the world. They carried heavy axes, long spears, and sharp curved knives. The archers had a terrifying reputation for accuracy on the sea right now, today, in battle. Boom. Think of it this way. When the signal finally flashed, the massive armada started to leave the shore. They left in a neat line. The Phoenicians went first. The Egyptians followed them. The Greeks and Carians came last. The rowers strained hard to get the heavy boats moving from a total stop. They started with short strokes. Then they made them longer until the ships were gliding fast. Torches lit up the entire beach. It looked like a giant bridge of glowing lights moving out into the open sea. An ancient prophet once wrote that this fleet would bridge the sea with boats. He predicted a massive pool of crimson blood. The bridge of ships moved incredibly fast. The leading column entered the narrow straits. They rowed as quietly as humanly possible. They kept their voices low so the enemy wouldn't hear a single thing. It's totally possible to move a massive fleet in near silence if you drop your speed. The rowers kept time by hitting stones together instead of playing loud music. The loud marching army on land helped hide their noise. But they had to worry about one gross thing. Sweat smell can ruin a surprise attack. Thousands of sweaty men inside a wooden boat smell terrible. You can smell it a mile away if the wind blows wrong. The Persians washed the ships earlier to fix this. They also counted on Greek overconfidence. The Greeks never expected a secret night attack. They thought the Persians would wait until morning. But the Persians were already inside the straits before the sun came up. The leading ships sat near the mountains. They blocked the northern escape route completely. The rest of the fleet stretched out for 4 miles along the dark coast. It was a massive wall of wood and muscle. But here is the major problem. The rowers had to stay in formation without dropping anchor. They had to row forward and backward constantly to hold their spots. Their hands were covered in painful blisters. Their muscles were completely burning. They didn't get a single minute of sleep all night long. Xerxes didn't care about their exhaustion. He just wanted his victory. He thought of oarsmen as disposable tools. When dawn broke, the tired rowers faced a fresh Greek fleet ready for war. Arrogance ruined everything completely for the Persian Empire right now at Salamis Bay today. The Persian rowers pulled their oars until their hands bled. If you want to see how the Greeks used this exact fatigue to crush the empire, you should watch our next video on the ultimate ambush strategy. Don't miss it. Click right here to see how the underdogs pulled off the greatest sea victory in history. Let's go right now.